Think shy people are weak? That's exactly what they want you to believe. While loud mouths broadcast their position to everyone, the quiet ones are running intelligence operations you don't even see. They're not frozen there in observation mode, cataloging weaknesses, mapping social terrain, waiting for the exact moment to strike. Snipers don't announce themselves. They breathe, calculate, execute. One shot, one kill. Your shyness isn't a bug in your programming. It's a feature that most people are too loud to access. What if silence is the most expensive currency in social markets? Let's talk about something Wall Street won't tell you. Attention is the new oil, but silence is weapons-grade plutonium. Rare, powerful, and most people have no idea how to handle it. Every word you don't say is equity you're keeping in the bank, while everyone else is hemorrhaging value through verbal diarrhea. Your shyness isn't social poverty, it's financial discipline in the economy of influence. Power law for states. Always say less than necessary. You've been running this protocol your entire life, without realizing it's a dominant strategy. While others dilute their message across 1,000 meaningless interactions, your rare words carry the weight of scarcity. When you finally speak, people lean in because it's an event, not background noise. There's a classified study from behavioral psychology units that almost never gets discussed. Researchers found that in high-stakes negotiations, the person who speaks least controls the frame. Why? Because silence creates vacuum, and humans are psychologically programmed to fill vacuums. They start explaining, justifying, revealing. You're not participating, unless you're forcing others to expose their entire playbook while you reveal nothing. The Stoics understood power dynamics at a molecular level. Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from controlling your reactions, not external events. Your shyness already gives you that control. You don't get swept into social hysteria. You don't commit to positions before understanding the full board. You're playing a different game entirely, one where patience compounds into devastating advantage. ANSYS Rule 39 is perfect for this. There is no such thing as coincidence. When shy people finally make their move, everyone thinks it's luck or spontaneous courage. Wrong. It was engineered through months of silent observation. You weren't inactive. You were in prep phase. Every conversation you watched was reconnaissance. Every social situation you analyzed was war gaming scenarios. Here's what terrifies socially dominant people once they figure it out. You've been studying them this whole time, and they had no idea. They thought you were just quiet. They didn't realize you were running facial recognition software on their micro-expressions, pattern analysis on their behavior, predictive modeling on their next moves. So what's the real question you should be asking right now? Not, how do I become more outgoing, but, how do I weaponize this advantage I've had all along? How do you turn every room into your surveillance network? Here's something they don't teach in communication classes. The person asking questions controls the interrogation, but the person staying silent controls the information flow. While everyone's busy performing their social theater, you're the only one actually watching the play. You see the glances, the power dynamics, the unspoken tensions. You're not missing out. You're gathering intelligence at scale. Power Law 33 warns, discover each man's thumbscrew. Translation, find their weakness, and you control them. Guess who's best at discovering weaknesses? Not the talkers. They're too busy broadcasting their own vulnerabilities. It's the watchers, the quiet ones who catalog every insecurity that slips through someone's carefully constructed facade. There's a disturbing theory from Cold War intelligence operations that still applies today. The most effective assets weren't the charismatic James Bond types. They were the forgettable ones. The people you'd pass in a hallway and not remember 5 minutes later. Why? Because memorable people get investigated. Invisible people get access. Your shyness is operational cover you've been wearing your whole life. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in ancient history, spent more time alone with his thoughts than at social events. His meditations weren't written for publication, they were private analysis, pattern recognition, strategic planning. He understood that real power comes from understanding systems, not impressing crowds. Your quiet time isn't isolation, it's the same practice that built empires. ANSYS Rule 3 states, don't believe what you're told. Double check. You already do this instinctively. While extroverts accept social narratives at face value, you're cross-referencing everything against observed behavior. You caught the lies that confident people missed because they were too busy talking to actually listen. Think about this. How many disasters have you avoided simply by staying out of drama? How many toxic people have you naturally filtered out because your shyness made you selective? Your introversion is an immune system against social pathogens. While others get infected with groupthink, mob mentality, and peer pressure viruses, you remain inoculated through simple non-participation. But here's where it gets interesting. Because observing isn't enough anymore, is it? At some point, you need to act. And when you do, why does your invisibility make you impossible to counter? Military strategists have known this for centuries. You can't shoot what you can't see. Every tactical advantage in warfare comes down to one thing: seeing your enemy before they see you. Your shyness already positioned you in the watchtower while everyone else is fighting in the arena. They're visible, loud, predictable. You're none of those things. That's not a disadvantage, that's air superiority. Power Law 17 demands, keep others in suspended terror by being unpredictable. How do you become unpredictable? By never establishing a pattern. And guess what? Shy people who suddenly act with precision create massive psychological impact precisely because nobody saw it coming. An extrovert being bold? Expected? You being bold? People remember that for years. There's a phenomenon in game theory called information asymmetry, when one player has significantly more data than the other. In every social interaction, you have asymmetric advantage. They don't know what you're thinking, planning, or capable of. They can't prepare for moves they don't see coming. Meanwhile, you've already modeled their likely responses to 12 different scenarios. The Stoics had this concept of premeditatio malorum, visualizing potential disasters before they happen. Sounds paranoid? Maybe. But it's also how you avoid walking into traps that destroy louder people. Your natural tendency to analyze before acting is the same mental training that ancient philosophers used to navigate court politics without losing their heads. Literally. Ensis Rule 9 is brutal. Never go anywhere without a knife. Your knife is the fact that nobody knows your capabilities until you choose to reveal them. Social dominance operates on perceived hierarchies. If they can't assess you, they can't place you. And uncertainty makes humans nervous. Your quietness isn't submission, it's deliberate ambiguity that keeps potential threats off balance. Here's the part that's actually unsettling when you think about it. You've spent your whole life developing skills that intelligence agencies spend millions training operatives to have. Observation without detection, information gathering without exposure, strategic patience, emotional control under social pressure. The question isn't whether you have power. The question is whether you're ready to stop pretending you don't. If this resonates, type recon in the comments. Have you started using your observation skills strategically? Or are you still seeing them as weaknesses? Drop your experience below and hit that like button and subscribe. There's a lot more tactical psychology coming your way. Why is everyone talking while you're building the master file? You want to know the real difference between amateurs and professionals in any field? Amateurs react. Professionals prepare. And preparation requires something most people can't access anymore: sustained, focused observation without the compulsion to immediately respond. Your shyness isn't making you miss opportunities, it's giving you the only advantage that actually scales: complete situational awareness while remaining operationally invisible. Power Law 38 teaches, think as you like, but behave like others. You're already doing this at an expert level. While the chatty ones expose their thoughts, values, and pressure points with every sentence, you blend into the environment. You're part of the scenery, and from that position, you see everything. Every power play, every manipulation attempt, every social hierarchy shift. You're not participating less, you're participating from a surveillance perspective that gives you God mode vision of the game board. Here's something from deep in conspiracy research archives that most people don't know. During the McUltra experiments, researchers discovered that introverted subjects were significantly harder to break under interrogation. Not because they were tougher, but because they had naturally developed what interrogators call compartmentalization, the ability to keep internal thoughts completely separated from external behavior. Your shyness built that fortress without you even trying. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher and advisor to emperors, wrote that luck is where preparation meets opportunity, but here's what he didn't say explicitly: you can manufacture opportunities by understanding patterns so deeply that you know exactly where to position yourself. Your observation isn't passive, it's active intelligence gathering. You're not waiting for chances. You're calculating where they'll appear and being there first. Ensis Rule 51 admits, sometimes you're wrong, but you know who's wrong less often. People who speak rarely and observe constantly. Every word you didn't say is a potential mistake you avoided. Every opinion you kept private is a social trap you didn't walk into. Your silence isn't ignorance, it's risk management at the highest level. Consider this: how many fake friendships have you avoided by being selective? How many toxic situations have you naturally filtered out because your shyness made you cautious? The extroverts stepped on every landmine. You saw them from a distance and walked around. But now, you need to understand something critical. Observation without action is just entertainment. At some point, the sniper has to take the shot.